once asked me about animals at work. Well, animals on my travels. Well, let's start here, shall we? Hello. Hello, blackface. Hello, I saw you yesterday. 38 I counted. Twice. First two times it was 36, but here's the first. There are pheasants over there. You gonna follow me down? And just coming along this way, a buzzard flew out of the trees. They're keeping the meadow grass down. That's what they're doing. There's some real long bits in there, or there was, but not anymore. It doesn't take them long. I was deadwooding in the copse when I saw these two starting to play. There's a longer video about this much earlier on in my channel. They were joined later on by a Shetland pony who looked a bit left out. Now this is one of the birds that I hear. There are a number of animals that I see pretty much on a daily basis. Anyone know what that is? Oh, is it that robin? I thought it was too loud for a robin. I'll see if I can zoom in. No, it's not. That's too loud. Yeah. Yeah, I told you. I was no good on birds. That sounds like something bigger than a robin. But frequently I see owls and herons up there. A few days after I said that, I was stood in exactly the same spot and I heard this croak. And I didn't have my camera up there with me. And I looked up and there was the heron flying across there. Just went over me. If I'd had a camera, I could have got a really good close-up of it. But every time I see it, I don't have the camera with me, and I take my camera pretty much everywhere I go, just in case. You saw a dog in the background. Hopefully that's going to get the rabbits. So apologies for any animal lovers, but when they come and dig up and eat everything you plant, you start to see animals a bit differently. And I used to work in a place, it was quite big. I think must have been 3-4 acres, and all the way around in some places we had triple rabbit wire buried and in others it was just double. It became quite funny there. It wasn't quite so bad. Underneath the larches. There's the London side of my family coming out. I'm actually son of a Cockney. Son of a Cockney girl. If at the time she was born, you would have heard the bells. So that's something I love. And the owls have also been known to sit up there because we found droppings, pellets as they're called. Now the other thing, if you can listen to this over the sound of the traffic, can you hear that tweeting? It's constant, because in the fields is where skylarks nest. And that's the sound you hear from well, actually, this year it's the sound I've heard all year round. And the other thing, like I said, is redwings. I have no idea what they are, but a flock of them has come in from somewhere. Whoa, they could be redwings, maybe. Listen to that noise. And also out here, and in another place, I often see a rabbit out in that field. Rabbit? I often see a hare out in that field. Now, I used to pass it in these woods. I was actually filming at one point and my camera stopped just as the hare was literally there and shot off. There was a noise, my camera died, I looked over to there, can you see where it's flattened? I looked there just in time to see a hare running off. That's the kind of place, those are the kind of places I work in. Wow, I'll tell you what, I'm having the best week I've had for a long time. And by long time, I do mean years. Wow, wow, that is so exciting. The amount of times I've been near her, or him, I've no idea which, in here, and it's literally been 2-3 meters away. Once it was a meter, and then the only reason I saw him was because I turned round, I heard a noise, I turned round to see a shape, you know, right next to me. Wow, that's so exciting. There you go, you never know what you're going to find in a meadow. But that's always been a lovely thing to see, a hare, and I've often seen them in woods. So you kind of get a little bit connected if you're in those places where they are. You can see them. And there's a hare just ran up there. Just gone into the hedge. Well, it was in there. See, this is where the wild is. I'm sorry I disturbed you, hare. Every so often, well, quite regularly, I say every so often, but oftentimes more than others, buzzards come around. One of the places where I used to work, I don't work there anymore, but I would come out along here, leaving, and they would fly past the buzzards and do a little fly past and say goodbye. It was like they'd fly sort of slightly at an angle to me, swoop down and then fly out off over the valley. But there was also ravens there. They used to nest there quite frequently. There's ravens in here. And here's two. There are ravens everywhere I go, everywhere I work, and everywhere I wander. I see ravens, so that story about, you know, ravens being a portent of death, well, that would be a daily occurrence for me. Multi-occurrence. I know it's not clear, but that's a red kite. there are jays, and the jays go mental. I'll try and find them at some point and show you how mental they are, but there's often deer over the back. Now there's something I haven't seen for a while. The last time I saw some deer here, there was 3 of them. Look at them. They know I'm here, even though the wind's blowing the other way. And I was actually over in there, in the woods, in the little copse thicket. Can't remember, I'm not sure what to call it, but that group of trees. I was just checking them out for hogweed, and I came across a little baby deer stuck in there. It kind of, we went face to face. It kind of went, oh, what am I going to do? I was like, oh, what am I going to do? Because I didn't know how to get it out of there, but obviously it got in. Its mother was, and then I noticed its mother was across there. So I thought, well, I'll leave them to it, and I went back where I came from, and they obviously got out because I haven't seen them since. And there we're gone. Don't run. You don't need to run. Honestly. Yeah, there you go. Go that way. Now, I know this isn't going to appeal to a lot of people, but this is part of tracking. Now, if you have a look closely, I don't know if I can get in any closer for you to see, but if you look at one end of those droppings, you'll see that there's a little point. Well, that means it's a deer, and I think, now I'm not entirely sure which deer that is. I think it could be muntjac, but I'm not entirely sure, so I'm going to have to check that out. See it? There it goes. Little pig dog. It's a deer, but it looks like a cross between a pig and a dog. Not found's another example of imported non-indigenous species that have come over here and are damaging stuff. So I'll check that out and find out for myself. I'm pretty sure it is, because roe deer have slightly bigger droppings. Deer tracks. Hard to tell whether it's roe deer or muntjac, because they both come in here. I'm not quite sure. I only came out for a short walk. It's not turned into a short walk because there's no one working. And most of the dog walkers, they have breakfast, go for a walk, and then they leave the wood. And then people like me, who think, oh no, it's going to be overrun with dog walkers, suddenly get some space. Oh yeah, this has got a beautiful scent of spring. You know, I'm sure it's one of those things that that when you haven't smelt it for ages, you forget. Oh, here's where I saw the deer before, isn't it? There's the there's another video I did. You can see how different it looks, but I've still seen the deer today. Well, some of them anyway. Yeah, and then so you have a little lull, sort of between maybe 10, half 10, for an hour or so, when then the next wave comes out. But you'll also notice, if you ever monitor this, is that the deer come out and start moving about from hiding places like this wood. They will suddenly start to go and cross roads. Obviously they'll have changed now because it's lockdown, but they've changed their movements and habits to fit in with people going to work. And there's another deer through there. So instead of doing what they used to do before there were so many cars on the road, they go in the lulls between people doing the school run and going to work. So about 9:30, 9:30 till about 11:30, when people start going out to go shopping. It's really interesting just how clockwork and programmed and what's the word? Routine people are. You know, I've got my own routine. It involves getting out before anyone else does, doing what I gotta do and going home before they come out. So I know that anyone I meet at that time is doing the same as me, so that's great. It only takes an instant to read someone's face. I nearly mowed this slow worm. It was lucky this time. I had a feeling it was there. Quite often I see a grass snake and they let me touch it. I was just sat I just went and sat down to have my lunch, and there, in arm's reach of me, was a coiled up grass snake. And of course I thought, that's odd, why hasn't it moved? So I put my hand down and touched it, and it kind of looked up and went, I'd better go. And off it went. But I found its young in the compost heap before now. This is a grass snake baby, the only one left I could capture. The others disappeared. Foxy! Wowee! Another time I've also had a fox. I was planting at the time, and I heard a rustle ahead of me in the wood. I heard a rustle ahead of me, not that far, you know, as near as that holly is there. And I thought, well, that's odd, what's that coming towards me? And then this young fox came out, sort of, you know, not quite in arm's length, but about 6 feet away. And it saw me, went, oh, and sort of turned round and sauntered off. And I thought, oh, that's not in a good state. So anyway, cut a long story short, I went and spoke to it, and basically it was dying. So we went and put it out of its misery. No idea what it had got, but it was very ill. So, you know, sometimes there are sad things, but other times there are good things, like when I saw a golden pheasant. Now that was unexpected. I was sort of taking a little wander down in the wood, and, you know, at the end of the field where I was working, because it was bluebell time, and then I saw the golden pheasant among the bluebells and the water that was draining down. And golden pheasants aren't that common around here. So yeah, no, I thought it was some kind of apparition, because I've never seen any pheasants in that wood. But by the time I got down to where it was long gone. These toads are having a bit of a cuddle. They got scared when I was too close. But they've just almost been squashed by a van. Don't know where they were trying to get to. And then there are the small garden birds. Well, it's quite convenient that I'm here doing this, because I was in here one winter and I had an army of robins follow me around. I mean, quite literally an army of maybe, I don't know, 6 or 7. Around here I was working. I was doing something, can't remember what, and they were in that tree, and then they followed me up to another bit of the garden. But also, under this tree, when I was sheltering this beautiful apple tree, I was sheltering from the sun for a few minutes, having a cup of coffee, and a robin sat on my knee. Not a robin, and a wren sat on my knee. And it's funny because I've seen it in the tree this morning, just up there. So I'm guessing that it must live around here somewhere. But I haven't spotted a nest yet, so, but maybe I will one day. The other thing is our blackbirds. Please excuse my noisy client, but we're going to walk past the blackbird. Female blackbird. We're a metre away. Hello. Okay, get back to your feed. I'm often having blackbirds and robins literally under my feet. You have to be careful sometimes. Robins particularly like sitting on the handles of the wheelbarrow or your spade or something if you leave it propped in the ground. There's one now, in there. Yeah, I was just talking about you. Yeah, I was. Yeah, you heard, didn't you? There you go, as if to prove it. But yeah, the blackbirds, there was one time where a female blackbird was caught in a net that was protecting the strawberries. Well, I don't know what a net was doing there. I told her to stay at home. Anyway, she so I was lifting up the net trying to free her, and I kept feeling this, something hit me in the back of the head. And I turned around and it was the male blackbird was like dive bombing me to stop, because I don't know what he thought I was doing. I was rescuing his partner, so he was dive bombing me. So maybe he was quite happy to have the peace and quiet. Who knows? But also this morning I have seen, it's been quite an interesting bird morning. Before my first job, I drove down, like there was a buzzard just sat at the side of the lane, narrow lanes I'm talking here, and it's just sat there. And then I saw a heron, and I've been hearing ravens croaking all morning, and that's the robin. Look at that, look. Yeah, this is a weekly basis this happens. And I can't swap to, I hope that's in focus enough. I'm not going to get any closer. You know what's going on, because I'm about to prune a rose and I've just been scrabbling about, and it thinks I'm going to scrabble about and get its food for him. Male or female. It's probably a male being that dominant. I'm not being sexist there, but you'll notice it among animals. The male will be more, come on, get on with it, mate, kind of thing, and straight in there. And talking of dominant males, this swan got all protective when I appeared. See him get up ready to defend his mate as soon as I start pointing the camera. He actually jumped in the water and swam to me, and then swam up and down by me, just watching me the whole time. Well, one of the joys about doing what I do is finding things like this. It's okay, don't worry, I haven't cut this down, I've just found this on the floor. But it is interesting just exactly where, for instance, blackbirds will nest. In the craziest places. When I mean crazy, I mean so close to humans. Bullfinches do it too, but I'm not sure what this nest is made by, but maybe someone watching knows. It's incredible, isn't it? Actually looks really cozy. Young birds in there. I think it's blackbirds in there. And in here there were robins. But I think they've gone now. That's a thrush in the centre. With all those, so many different calls. I think a tiny wren above it just flown off maybe. I'll see if I can get closer. Incredible, isn't it? So many different ones. I've already said good morning to it. A lovely dive bomb for all you guitarists. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the swallows, taking water on the wing. Can you hear their chatter while they're doing it? Listen out for it. Okay, now I've just found this on the steps where I'm working. Now it's what, 4 inches diameter, yeah. Now pad, toe, and none of the toes have a claw. Come and see this beauty. There, look at that. Isn't that incredible? That's what you call a knobbly beach, isn't it? We've just disturbed a deer as well. At least I hope it was a deer and not a panther. Holy shit. Now we're on to big cats. In the clip before we run, you can hear a throaty growl. Now, I know there are going to be naysayers about this, but I've done all my checks, or else it wouldn't be up here. I wouldn't have put it out, and you know, I would have said it's a deer or it's a whatever. But you know, with based on my own experiences, evidence from the other people, the location, all of it, I'm convinced this was a big cat. You know, I mean, I say my own experiences. Our own experiences of me and my daughter, independently of each other. But in this footage, I was marvelling at the sun. Well, I was wandering around on an early morning walk, and I wandering around, and I saw the sun, and it just looked like a great shot. So I was standing there, and then I noticed something that I thought, or my mind made it logically, a recently cut tree. Because when you've got recently exposed branch, it's a brighter colour. And then I realised, you know, it was a sandy colour. And then it moved off like it owned the place. And I saw its hind legs and rump, and they just looked solid and muscular. And then my rational brain tried to make out it was a fox, but there's no way it could be. We don't have foxes a sandy colour. So you know, it's in this video. You're looking at it. I'm pretty sure it was a puma, otherwise known as a mountain lion in some places. For those who don't know, that's the same creature. Again, this is corroborated by other experiences in the same area. For over 30 years, people have seen a puma around here. But it also illustrates this thing, you know, about UFOs and strange sightings. And they say, oh, you know, oh, you can't see it. Why do people not have a modern camera? Well, my camera's pretty good, but I can't do anything about the light. I've enhanced the footage, you know, and I can't, it's just not clear enough. Because I wasn't zoomed in and focused on the creature. But I got out of there quite, well, quite quickly. But you don't expect it. That's the other thing about it. You just don't expect that that's what's going to appear. So you're not ready for it. You know, there's a picture of a hare. There's a shot of a hare earlier on in this video. Well, you know, you only see the end of it because that's how quick it runs, and I wasn't ready, not expecting it. Holy, what the hell is that down there? Did you see that? So we're looking into the sun. I'm a bit freaked now. That looked really big to be a fox. And didn't seem bothered that I was here. Well, there you go. That's as many as I can do. There are more. If you want to see the bat stories, there's a video about bats. Sometime last year, I think I posted it. The jays, well, I heard a jay as I got here this morning, but it's quiet now, typically. But, you know, I'm sure there are other things that I've forgotten about. There's many times I sort of glimpse a deer in the, you know, when I'm out filming and they hide behind trees and stuff. It's very hard for me to go around and go into all of my footage and seek it out, because you've got to remember which time and where, and it's not possible. It takes too long to catalogue all my footage that clearly. Anyway, I hope you've enjoyed it, and don't forget to like, subscribe, share, comment, click the bell, check out the links below, sign up for something, donate if you want to, although it may be difficult because for some reason my PayPal is being seen as, well, people are unable to pay me into it, so I don't know what that's about. It's quite hard to deal with robots. So yeah, I'll see you next time. Ta-da.